Welcome to Casey's Cozy Garage, and today we are going to take a look at Injora's metal SCX24 transmission. So we begin this story today talking about how I upgraded my favorite SCX24 from brushed to brushless. And this is what it looks like right now. I reversed the skid to get the motor to point backwards, and now we have clearance for this battery so we can keep our weight far forward, and that's all good and done. And I run it just casually at the park once in a while, and it's a good time. Well, get to the competition day, and we go to Team Garage Hack, and they have terrain that looks like this.
Right here.
And the problem is, when you are competing, you're in the heat of the moment and you're an aggressive driver like I am, you end up breaking a lot of things. We broke the drive shaft on this side of the axle, and then we bent this one. Luckily, the very kind people that I crawl with, they had extra parts, and that's all good. It still had a click in the transmission, and that means we have damaged the plastic gears inside of this. I got stuck in a rock and I tried to power out of it, and the torque broke some stuff in the drivetrain. I thought that wouldn't happen because I'm still running plastic drive shafts from the transfer case, but I guess these held and everything else broke. This is my most used RC car in my whole collection, and now it is time to upgrade that part, so hopefully we don't strip the transmission gears anymore, and I will learn to drive not as aggressively to spare the driveline. I noticed that not enough people were talking about the various transmission options, so here we are. This is the Injora transmission. Now, I think Injora I like their parts, or wherever they get their part. I have Injora links on this truck and different trucks. I have Injora parts and a lot of different things that I build. So I was hoping that this one was good, couldn't find a review, and so here we are. My first impressions are, yeah, that's really smooth. I was wary that it was going to feel loose, that the metal was going to feel cheap, and on first impression, taking it out of the package, it feels good. Now, if we look right here, the spur gear is metal, and I would assume there's a metal gear inside of there. There's two bearings, so it's identical to the SCX24 stock transmission, except for the housing is metal, which means it should handle more torque. Anyway, the housing is metal, which means that it should handle more torque without flexing the casing, which will keep the gears meshed together. And we have metal gears too, which keep it against stripping. So that's good. It comes pre-assembled. We're going to have to take it apart and put the Fury Tech plate on it. But the other fun things that come in the box is we have an aluminum cover. We come with extra hardware, and we come with pinion gears, plastic pinion gears. I like the idea of mixing plastic and metal to keep it quieter. And Injora is starting to work on their own branding, because what in the world is an Injora? Super Injora? I don't know. I guess we'll take this transmission out, investigate what went wrong there, and start putting this adapter plate onto this transmission. So here it is. We're gonna keep with the plastic drive shafts, but as you can hear, there is a click in this transmission. So yeah, we're gonna get that apart and see if we can hear that. And this one, smooth. So yeah, they are essentially identical. You don't get the cool, I think they were trying to get some, like, they put these gusset plates in there. It probably does add rigidity, but it also makes it look like a more real transmission design, which is a cool little thing. This motor off and get this plate off. Quick note, if you like the song that's playing over this right now, go check out my band in the link description below. Quick note, whenever I take one of these drive shafts off, I like to keep the screw inside of the drive shaft, because for some reason that's the one that likes to evade me, that I lose the most. Oh, look at that. Yep, there's a chunk taken out of that one. So it's stripped there, and this gear slipped. The rest of this transmission feels kind of smooth. We may be able to reuse this, but the tab has broken off of this housing, so maybe we won't. Okay, the fact that this is smooth, the other two gears, I think this transmission still might have some life in it, so I'm going to keep it on hand. It needs a new spur gear, but I might have that in my junk pile. So I'm going to screw these back in together just to hold it together a little bit. And then we'll move on to the metal transmission. So to take the motor plate off of this transmission, we're going to have to take the spur gear off first, and it feels like this one is a nylon lock nut, which is good. We won't have to worry about it coming off. Take the metal gear off. Then we're going to undo these 4 bolts. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. They sandwich the plate, and both of these parts of the housing. And then I can have this plate for whenever I use another brushed motor, and no matter the pattern, because the stock plate does not come with 4 bolt holes, it comes with 2, and you can only use it with like the stock SCX24 motor and a couple other motors, but you can't use it with every motor, so that's why the aftermarket plates come with 4 holes. So now we take the adapter plate for the brushless motor, and it goes on like so. Whoa! We are screwing into metal now, so it's not plastic, so it won't have its automatic Loctite. So we have our thread locker. You only need a little bit, and then that was kind of a lot, but that's okay. And we'll just screw all 4 of these bolts in. One mistake I always make is you have to put these 2 bolts in at the top before you put the spur gear on. Put the spur gear on many a time, realizing I needed 2 more bolts and having to take it off again. So don't do that. Whoa! I believe the fat side goes forward and put on the nylock nut. I think this pinion is done for. Okay, now we're back. We got a new pinion gear on there, and we successfully got it on there. How I did it was I put a little bit, before that I took a little bit of 220 grit and I sanded the shaft in this direction to make splines. I was careful not to get any dust inside of this outrunner motor, which is not water or dust proof. And then I took some CA glue and I put it on the shaft, and I quickly pressed on this the spur gear the pinion gear that came with the Injora transmission, and it seems to be on there way tighter than it used to be. Take the 2mm bolts. Funny story, when I first got this kit, it did not come with these, and so these are off of my TRX 4M. They were holding the ESC down in that one, and I don't drive that truck that much. It's frustrating, and I'm going to make it brushless someday. So I just took these and grinded them down a little bit. They were tiny bit too long, and now they hold on the micro Komodo. Yeah, let's get this on there. So now I've got one bolt in there, and you want to set it, if it's this tight, it will put extra strain and heat into your motor. And if it's too loose, you'll strip the gear. So what you want to do is you want to have something like that, where you can still see the pinion move a little bit. Like, maybe that's a little too much, but something like that. And that would be a perfect gear mesh. All right, sweet. Now we got the whole thing put together. Yeah, that's great. So we've got it put together. Now we got to put the drive shafts back on. I have this in the reverse orientation. So the shorter one goes in the front and the longer one goes in the rear. Ready? Alakazam. Oh, there we go. Man, I'm good at magic. Now, I'm not using metal axles because I think that it is good to have a good blend of plastic and metal parts, because it is much easier to replace one of these drive shafts than it is to take apart a whole axle and replace that, or take apart the gears inside of this gearbox. So that's good. Now, we just put it back in the truck. And there we have it. It's in there nice and solid. Everything's spinning freely, and I guess now all there is to do is to slap a battery in it and drive it. Let's see how it performs. So yeah, let's test out what this transmission sounds like. I would say it does sound a little bit different, a little bit louder would be fair to say. That being said, it really does not sound that loud at all. Like if the SCX24 did come with stock metal gears like this, it would sound just fine, yeah. That's really good. That is, yep, that's nice. I did do some driving with it on some rocks, and yeah, it performs exactly how you would want it to. And I really think that Injora transmission is pretty good, actually. I'd say buy it. If you were thinking about doing it, you need some cheaper gears, just go ahead and get it. Yeah, that's great. That's fantastic. Well, that's it on the Injora transmission. I hope you liked this video, and make sure to like and subscribe. Check me out on Instagram and check out my band in the description below. This is Casey's Cozy Garage, and I hope that you have a good day.